of the extremely successful reading technique known as paired reading. Now, teachers who are currently involved in teaching reading may have found certain difficulties in maintaining or increasing time on task. Such difficulties might possibly include inattentiveness, or possibly vocabulary that is way too complex.
On this particular morning, the parent,
or simply reluctance to read. Not to worry, however, because with paired reading, you'll have at your disposal a truly powerful reading technique that can be a valuable asset to your reading program. So, what are the elements of paired reading? Well, we'll find out right after this message.
Well, folks, it's time for another one of those silly kids commercials. Any grown-up that's still in the room, well, here's your chance to go. Go on. We'll tell you when this dippy sales pitch is over. Are they gone? Yes! Okay, kids, check it out. The amazing homework machine. Are you finally disgusted with all that math homework your teacher gives you? Well, just put it in the amazing homework machine. Press a few buttons. It's very, very important to wait for the bell. And your homework is finished. Perfectly! Wow! Yes, it's great. Why? We've even made it look like a typewriter, so your parents or teacher won't catch on. Now, this little gem can be yours for only $29.95. Just send your money to this address.
The Amazing Homework Machine, 246 Slime Drive, Slick City, California, in care of Crazy Corintha. Tax, dealer, prep, shipping options, spare or necessary parts are extra. No refunds, exchanges, or returns are accepted. Welcome back. We're about to begin our in-depth look into the essential elements of paired reading. I'd like to utilize my assistants who, as we say in the business, are out in the field, to assist me in describing these techniques. Liat, are you there?
I sure am, Brian. I'm here in a typical classroom with students who are demonstrating the most important component of paired reading, tracking. Tracking is the process where one student reads while the other student's job is to follow along word for word with their finger. When done properly, this technique allows the tracker to both hear and see the words being read. For readers who will be unable to handle the storyline alone, it gives them access to richer literature. Also, because the tracker must stay on track, it increases time on task. This helps even a less accomplished reader stay on track through the entire story, not just sporadic skim reading. As you can see, it isn't too difficult to track once both students get used to it. To make tracking easier, it's best to follow these certain elements. My colleague at another site will explain the next element. Brianna, are you there? Thank you, Leah. Here I am in another typical classroom to explain the following need of certain techniques that ensure proper tracking. First, we have at this desk 2 students are having difficulty tracking. As you can see, there's a problem. Obviously, it's best to use only one book so students know if their partner is tracking properly. Now here we have kids using one book, but wait, let's watch. Where are you? Where are you? My arm's getting tired. Where are you? After seeing this, it's a probably good idea for the students to use one book in the middle so it's easier to track and your arm doesn't get tired. Now let's take one more look at a pair of students to see if they can do the paired reading with tracking perfectly. As we can see, there is only one book used, and the book is in the middle. But wait, it looks like there is a problem. Let's zoom in and see what's going on.
I don't see why we should help Brothers Rick suddenly to Gene after all we've done for him today, but Emily made up her mind, and sometimes keeping very busy is a good way to get out of the grumpy mood to explain, and we might, well, give it a try.
Yes, one more important element for proper tracking during paired reading. Read with an even voice, not too fast and not too slow. Well, there you have it, folks, the critical element that make paired reading so successful. But there are lots of other elements in paired reading that also make it such a powerful technique. We're going to explain those right after this.
Howdy, folks. I'm Cal Cunnington. This is my dog, Dot. I have a great deal for you today, and it's called Rent a Sixth Grader. Are you having problems on the playground? Things like someone jacking the ball right before you get there, or someone cutting in line right before it's your turn to play, or someone stomping all over your sandcastle right after you built it. Well, if you don't like this, then why don't you try Rent a Sixth Grader. For only $1 per recess, plus your lunch card, you can have the biggest, the meanest, the roughest, toughest sixth grader in the whole school. Just think of it. The next time someone tries to jack your ball with Rent a Sixth Grader, well, you know what's gonna happen to her. And just think, never again will you ever have to go through something like this. Woo-wee! Wouldn't that just be great? And just think what might happen the next time you build your sandcastle and someone tries to mess it up. Well, and there you have it, folks. I'm Cal Cunnington, and this is my dog, Dot, for Rent a Sixth Grader. Remember, just $1 per recess and your lunch card. Well, I'll stand on my head to rent you a sixth grader. Thank you very much.
Welcome back. Hopefully, students and teachers are starting to get a feel for what paired reading with tracking is about. So far, we've learned these three elements. The students must have the ability to track perfectly with both your eyes and your finger, use only one book in the middle, and read with a smooth, even voice. Not too fast or too slow. There are, however, several other elements that make paired reading a successful reading technique in any classroom. Let's go back to my colleagues out in the field who will describe these other elements. Liz, are you there?
I sure am, Brian. I'm here in another typical classroom to demonstrate the most important technique of paired reading. Along with the other three elements that have already been discussed, another very important element for paired reading is to use a 12-inch voice. Without a 12-inch voice, it might possibly sound like this. Using a 12-inch voice means that the reader can only be heard 12 inches away. Let's go and check what a 12-inch voice really sounds like.
It's not like Carter's Jr. He has always had such lovely manners, but that's not all. Suddenly, the children in the park are complaining. It seems that Carter's took away their ball.
And even with the entire class, a 12-inch voice is workable. Another important element of paired reading is to have a way to make sure the tracker is staying on track. One way to do this is to play a little game by either inserting a silly word or pretending that a very easy word is difficult to read and asking the tracker to read the word. Let's watch to see how this is done.
What a good idea, said Eugene. When we smooth Carter's rumpled nerves with our beautiful music, he'll be his old friendly self again. I'm sure that he'll... What's that word?
You don't know that word? It's bean. Also be sure the reader asks the tracker a question either at the end of the paragraph or at the end of the page. Let's watch to see how this is done.
Turning the bin, they saw Crothers still sitting in the same place, still gazing at the fallen leaves. Ever so quietly, they tiptoed up behind her, placing the mouthpiece of her tuba to their lips. Emily puffed up her cheeks and began to play. Softly. Now for a question. What was Crothers gazing at?
The fallen leaves.
Good job.
Active participation in generating questions and answering them will certainly increase students' understanding and comprehension. Well, there you have it, folks. 3 more important elements that make paired reading so successful. Let's go back to Brian now in Studio 1 to see what he has in store for us. Brian, back to you.
Thanks, Liz. Now that we've learned the essential elements that the students must know, what about the role of the teacher? When we return, we'll discuss how the teacher can promote a motivational and successfully run paired reading program. But first, here's a message from another sponsor.
Hi, everybody.
You know what I just bought?
Handbook for Cafeteria Survival. This book is a must for anyone who wants to survive the brutal world of eating lunch, cafeteria style. Just look at some of these topics. Ah, yes, a cafeteria. Sometimes unpredictable and sinister, always brutal. The lunchroom is no place for a little guy like you or me. Chapter 1, discussion. How to not lose your seat. Wouldn't you love to know how to stop this? Or how about chapter 2? How to keep your table quiet. Finally, a surefire way to make everybody zip their lip. And of course, my favorite chapter, chapter 3, how to keep from getting run over. Just for once, wouldn't it be great if this didn't happen? Oh, great.
Well, kids, there you have it. All this information and more can be yours by sending just $9.99 plus your lunch card to this address.
The Little Kid's Handbook for Cafeteria Survival, 246 Slime Drive, Slick City, California, in care of Crazy Corintha and Cal Cunnington. Welcome back. As I promised, let's get right into how the teacher can properly initiate, motivate, and maintain a paired reading program. Following these rules may help. To initiate, you might provide a variety of activities and techniques that include visual, auditory, and kinesthetic modalities that demonstrate paired reading. You can do this with posters of the rules, practice modeling the technique with students, and viewing this video as needed for reinforcement. To motivate is usually easier because paired reading allows the students to work with a partner. This is often preferred because it allows the students to interact. In addition to enhancing this interaction and maintain motivation, you might consider allowing the students to crash or create a reading and sharing hideaway. Crashing is not only an incentive for the students to try their best, but it allows a broader use of the room so as to minimize 15 12-inch voices. Crashing, as you can see, can happen just about anywhere partners can feel comfortable. And finally, to maintain the program, the teacher should properly match reading abilities so that the skill difference is neither too close or too extreme. Circulate through the readers. Provide assistance when neither child can decode a word. And finally, monitor and adjust all basic elements of the program. Now that we've discussed the role of the teacher, we'd like to end our presentation by finding out how much you've learned. So right now, it's time for What's Wrong with This Picture? Here's how it's done. While I explain, your teacher will be passing out an activity sheet for you to use. When you have your sheet, be ready to do these 3 things. Number 1, watch the video carefully. Then, decide which element or elements are either missing or wrong. And finally, mark your answer on your activity sheet. Your teacher will press the pause button on the VCR and wait for everyone to respond before the next scene is shown. If you're ready, let's begin. In this first scene, can you figure out the one element missing with this paired reading?
Some dinosaurs spent much of their time in swamps or in the water. They found food there because their animals and plants they like to eat live there. Some kinds of dinosaurs got away from their enemies, but what's that word? Just checking. By hurrying into the water when enemies were after them. Now for a question. How did the dinosaurs get away from their enemies?
By hurrying into the water.
Good job.
In this scene, there are 2 things going wrong. Do you know what they are?
The big ones, the little ones, they look for animals and plants to eat. The little ones can run fast. They probably think. What's that word, too? I don't know. They chase the other animals or went from one place to another to find new plants to eat. Now for a question. Which one can run faster? The big ones or the little ones? I don't know.
Next, you'll have to really watch and listen to pick out 3 mistakes made by these partners.
All dinosaurs are reptiles. They're reptiles living on Earth today. They do not look at all like dinosaurs. Snakes and lizards and reptiles. Turtles are reptiles. Crocodiles and alligators are reptiles. What's that word? I don't know. They all have scales or hard parts on the outside of their bodies, and they breathe with lungs. It's your turn. But
Now in this scene, we have 3 pairs of partners, A, B, and C. Watch and listen to all 3 of them and try to decide which letter is doing paired reading perfectly.
dinosaurs lived on Earth millions and millions of years before there were any people. Nobody ever went dinosaur hunting because there wasn't any person living. What's that word? Just checking on the Earth to go. So of course nobody ever met a live dinosaur in the woods or anywhere else. Your turn.
Now let's try partners B.
Sometimes dinosaurs spent much of their time in swamps or in the water. They found food there because the animals and plants they like to eat lived there. Some kinds of dinosaurs what's that word? Just checking. Got away from their enemies by hurrying into the water when the enemies were after them. Now for a question.
Where did dinosaurs live? In the swamp. Good job.
And finally, partner C.
Dinosaurs spent most of their time roaming over and looking for something to eat. Some ate smaller animals. Some of the large dinosaurs ate smaller dinosaurs. And some of the large ones killed and ate each other. Some ate plants of all kinds, and others were both plant eaters and animal eaters. And still others were only meat eaters. Your turn.
Well, which partners were perfect? A, B, or C? Mark your answer and good luck. Well, our time is just about up. We're going to let you finish the rest of the
By Daniel Parker King. The dinosaur I'm studying is Dimetrodon. My dinosaur lived in the Permian period. That was 260 million years ago. My dinosaur lived in New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, and Mexico. My dinosaur wasn't a dinosaur, it was a lizard. My dinosaur looked like a giant lizard with a fin on his back. His fin was 4 feet tall, and his body was 1 foot tall. And in length, he was 11 feet to 6 feet long. My dinosaur might have been brown or green. My dinosaur Dimetrodon weighed 360 pounds. My dinosaur ate the smaller finback Ediposaurus. Ediposaurus looked exactly like him, but was smaller, and he ate plants. Its enemies were Ediposaurus because he ate him. My dinosaur protected himself because he could run very fast, and his sharp claws and sharp teeth. I think the dinosaurs.
Let's see, these one girls. Oh, I guess just realistic. Okay, Bobby. Yeah. Sorry, well, there she goes. I'm not used to seeing her hair now. I didn't have time to comb her hair because she was just our mom.
I saw the red light come on.
No, I just washed it. Is that possible? Just sticker it.
This is this.
Yeah.
I gotta go get your.